Hello everyone, I am Professor Amit Vyas, Computer IT Department from Dr. Subhash Technical Campus. We are discuss about the unit number 3 of mobile computing and wireless communication. Now we are discuss about the topic of what is the GSM and GPRS. So we can use both in the wireless communication in the mobile computing. So this is the one famous word. What is the GSM and GPRS? Now we are discuss for the GSM and GPRS. Previous lecture we are discuss about what is the multiplexing techniques. We are discuss frequency division multiple access, space division multiple access, time division multiple access, and code division multiple access. So this is the all the frequency division multiple access we are discuss about. What is the use of the frequency, space, time, and code in the multiplexing we are discuss. Now also we are discuss what is the GSM and CDMA difference. We are discuss what is the frequency for the GSM, CDM. Then all the parameters we can use. You can show that here. Channel bandwidth, also here the channel bandwidth, voice code and data bit rates, and all the comparison of parameter we are discuss about the previous lecture. So now we are discuss about the network topics for the principles of cellular network. Cellular technology is the basic for the mobile wireless communication and support the user in location that are not easy to serve by the wireless network. So what is the cellular network? Cellular technology mostly used in the mobile wireless communication. If any number of area, the wire communication, it means the physical communication or wire communication is not easy to establish or not easy to perform, that time you have locate in the wireless network. So cellular radio is a techniques that was developed to increase the capacity available for the mobile radio and telephonic services. So what is the cellular network? The physical connection is not established easily for any particular location or any area, and also the mobile computing is increased easily for the wireless communication. So we have established the cellular wireless radio network for the communication for the telephonic services. So this is the main aim for the cellular network. It is understanding the technology for the phones, personal communication, wireless network in any more times. This technology is developed for the mobile radio telephone or replace the high power transmitter and receiver for the particular system. Cellular network used for the low power, short range, and more transmitter for the data transmission. So what is the main use of the cellular network? It is used for the low power, short range, and more transmitter for the data transmission. So this is the main aim of the cellular network. Also we discuss a cellular network is divide any given of area into number of cell, where the mobile unit in the each cell is communication in the base station. So what is the cellular network and how can you establish the cellular network in the particular location and particular area? Cellular network is divided into the number of area into the cell, and cell is communicate for the mobile unit, and each cell is communicate one base station. So you have created one base station, and base station is created number of cell. So each cell is directly communicate one mobile unit. So the signal is passed for the cell, and then cell the signal is passed for the base station. So you have easy to communicate to each other based on the wireless mobile computing. The main aim of the cellular network is designed it to able to increase the capacity of the channel. So mostly used, you have increased the network capacity also because of the number of mobile computing or number of mobile devices or transmitter is used. So this is the main aim. For example, handle the many calls as possible in the given the bandwidth with sufficient level of quality of service. If the only for one base station have a number of user, so that time your bandwidth is high is requirement or quality bandwidth is requirement because of the network capacity is divided in the particular cell. So this is the main importance for the cellular network. So if you this is the base station, you have saw that here. So this is the cell and this is the one base station network. All the base station which are connected, and this cell which is directly communicate for the base station, and each base station for the network tower which is communicate to also be each other. So this is the also importance. Now we have discussed what is the cell structure. So we have discussed about what is the principle of cellular network. So first of all, what is the cellular network? Cellular technology basically in the mobile wireless communication technology support for the location area for the any this location mostly is prefer for the mostly wireless communication is established and physical communication is not established. This position you have directly communicate the cellular network. So mobile wireless communication is an example of the cellular networks. Also its cellular networks, you can show that here. Cellular networks is divide of the given area into number of cell, and each cell may be communicate for the base station. So you can show that this is the one base station and this is the device into cell number of cell, and each cell is communicate the one base station. Also the number of base station which are connect to each other. So data transmission is easily. So this is the main concept of the cellular networks. Now we have discussed the cell structure. What is the cell structure? The coverage area of cellular networks is divided into the cell, and each cell is having one antenna for the transmitter signal. So what is the antenna and what is the transmitter and what is the signal? We all the concept we have discussed about the unit number 2, signal and antenna, and the propagation mode. How can your signal is transmitted and how can you receive the signal? So all the information you can show that in the unit number 2. So now what is the cell structure? You can show that each cell having on the antenna for the transmitter and signal. So you can show that here one cell, here one cell, here one cell. This is the all cell. So all the cell is occupied on antenna. So for the transmitter the signal. So this is the all the cell is occupied transmit the antenna or transmit the signal. So not an antenna. You have all the cell is occupied on antenna. So what is the use of the antenna? Transmit the signal and receive the signal based on the transmitter, based on the receiver. So each cell is occupied the on frequency because you have occupied the antenna. So each cell is occupied the frequency. If the high frequency, then cell or signal you can transmit at high level. So through in the reality, the cell could be any sharp for the proper modeling purpose. They are moderate of the hexagon. So each cell is occupy the antenna, and antenna is established for the communication for the signal in the hexagonal decimal. So how can you establish the antenna? So you can easy to communicate to each other. So this is one cell. So here one antenna is you can establish that time. This direction you can, how can you establish the antenna? The signal you can transmit it easily for particular direction. So it is the importance. So you have established the north direction or west direction based on the base station. So this is the main concept of the cell structure. You can show that this is one cell structure. So this is the cell structure. You have shown that this is the cell is occupied, and you have shown that here the communicate to each other or established here, but it is not compulsory. But this is the importance. This is the cell is communicate or for the number of another cell. The hexagonal cell is sharp is highly recommended for the easy to coverage and calculation. It is offer the following advantage. So this is the hexagonal cell. So what is the hexagonal cell importance? You can show that this is for the hexagonal cell. So what is the importance? It is highly recommended for the easy to cover all the data signal and antenna for the transmitter and receiver. So this is the main importance. How can you establish the cell in the particular location? It is advantage is provide the equidance antenna, and distance for the center to the vertex is equal length of the side. So this cell is occupied in hexadecimal cell. So this is the importance because of this cell is occupied some antenna, and this is the distance is easy or same side for the another cell. Mostly it is not compulsory, but mostly the cell distance is same. So this is the cell to directly communicate for the one cell to another cell. So this is the cell structure. Now the frequency reuse. To solve the 100 of 1000 of users, the frequency must be reused. In this done through the cell. The area to be covered and subdivide into the radio zone or cell. Base station is position of the center of the cell. So you can show that what is the base station and what is the cell it is used. We can show that mostly frequency is reused and also be covered for the large area, but number of user is so much, that time frequency is divided. So what is the main importance? You can show that base station is positioned at the center of the cell. So you can show that this is one main cell, hexadecimal or number of cell, the base station. So base station is established the center of the cell, because of cell can directly communicate the base station, and base station is directly communicate another base station. So this is the importance for the frequency. So because of the frequency is divided into the sub zone. So this is the frequency reused. The data communication in the cellular network is served by the base station for the transmitter, receiver, and the control. So how can you communicate? The data communication in cellular network is based on the base station. So base station is important part, because of the base station is communicate to the transmitter, receiver, and the control unit. When the moving from one cell to another cell during ongoing conservation, the automatic channel is change is occupied. So this is the importance. If you move for one cell to another ongoing conservation, suppose you have here for your location, suppose you have here for the Ahmedabad for the cell 1, and you travel and continue for the Rajkot for the cell 2. So network is not connected, but data conservation or data transmission is directly go to the base station, and base station is directly go to the cell. So the conservation is directly move or signal is directly move for particular this cell network to this cell network for the cell division. So this is the importance. You have communicated the cell 5 and then you can travel or any another place, then your signal is directly transferred the near about your cell, and this cell is directly communicate your hexa cell, and then the hexa cell is directly communicate base station. So network you have moved, so signal is moved for the cell station, but signal is not lost. So this is the main advantage of the wireless communication. So you can show that the moving from one cell to another during the ongoing any conservation, so automatically channel is occupied. This phoneme, it is called the handover. So handover is maintained of the active speed and the data connection over the cell boundary. So this is the maintain for the active speech and the data conservation over the cell boundary. So this is the importance. So you can show that this is the frequency reused. So this is one towers, and then you can show that this is the one P1, P2, all the cluster, and this is the frequency. So this is the frequency is used. We have discussed also. The regular repetition of the frequency in the cell is result in the clustering of the cell. The cluster is generated the way of consume the whole the frequency band. So the cluster is generated in the way and we can consume the whole the frequency band. So this is the structure of the frequency reused. Now we discuss about the cell cluster. So what is the cell cluster? Each cell is receive the subset of the frequency from the entire set assigned to the respective mobile network. So what is the cell cluster? Each cell is receive some subset of the frequency from the entire set of assigned of the respective mobile network. So each cell is occupies some subset of the frequency and directly communicate the cell and for the mobile network. To avoid the any co-channel interference to the neighboring cell, never be used the same frequency. So this is the importance. To avoid the any co-channel interference to the neighboring the cell network, for the never be used the same frequency. So you can show that how can you cluster and what is the cell cluster. You can show that here. This is the one cell cluster. This is the 1, 2, 3 what this is one cluster. So what is the cell cluster? Each cell is receive some subset of the frequency from the entire set. So this is the cell cluster, and this is the same frequency you have divide. This is the some data, and this cluster is received from frequency because of the near about. So then you can use this cluster is the for the network communication. Only the distance, this is the D means distance, is not the frequency reused for the distance. The same frequency from the set can be reused. So this is the also importance. The same frequency from the set can be reused for the particular network. The cell width, distance from the cell, can be assigned for one or all frequency from belong to the cell. Cell width, distance from cell, can be assigned one or all frequency from belong to the cell. So this is the importance. Cell is directly with the distance for the cell and also be assigned so frequency. So cell also cluster you have assigned the frequency and reused particular cell. The size of the cluster is defined by the number of cells in the cluster. It is also be defined the frequency reused for the distance as shown in the figure for cluster k equal to 4. You can show that this is one cluster. So this cluster is occupied for the near about, and also be this cluster is used, or this distance frequency cell is used for the cluster frequency. So this is the importance. So next topic we are discuss the 3G technology, but we are discuss what is the all the topics we are cover. Now we are discuss. This is the principle of the cellular networks. How can you use the cellular networks? This is used for the mobile wireless communication to support the any location and directly used for the network. So what is the cellular network mostly used? It is used for the wireless communication, and the physical communication is not established easily any location or any area. That time mostly used in the cellular networks. So this is the one cellular networks. So this is one cell. Also number of cell is connected for the base station, and base station is connect to each other. So also be show the hexa cell structure. So this is the hexa cell. It is connect the number of cell. You can show that this is one hexa cell. It is connect number of cell, and this is the hexa cell wall. It is connect the number of cell. All the cell hexa cell which are connect to each other. In the center area is occupy one base station. So base station is communicate the number of hexa cell. So this is the one wireless network you have established for the particular cell. So each cell is also be occupied one transmitter and receiver signal. So all the cell is occupied one transmitter and receiver. But the frequency is important, high frequency, and then you can transmit the data for the long range for the signal. So also be used the frequency used. You can show that here. Now we can show the cell cluster. This is one cluster, and this cluster is used for the near about cell, and this frequency is used for the near about cell. So cell we can use this cluster frequency. So this is the importance. Now we discuss about the what is the 3G technology. So this is the importance word. What is the 3G, and one we have discussed the list of application on 3G. The terms of 3G internet is referred the third generation of the mobile phone standard for the International Telecommunication Union. So what is the ITU? This is the importance word for the short form. It is the International Telecommunication Unit for the network communication. So 3G mostly in the third generation for the mobile standard. So 3G technology is allowed to mobile to operator to offer the more services option for the user, including the mobile broadband. So 3G technology used for the mobile facility, and the frequency is high, and the data communication and data downloading and uploading speed is high compared to 2G. 3G broadband is offered to greater flexibility and the services by making the more efficient use for the mobile bandwidth in the processor of the 2G. So in compared to 2G, all the flexible service is very high compared to 3G. In the device of 3G can be work in the multiple way. They can be run for the tunneling mode and or application mode. So 3G application mostly work in the application mode. So this is the importance. So first of all, we can show what is the tunneling mode. The device work is more as a pass through the device or modem. In this mode, the mobile phone is connected for the another device like laptop, function in the wireless media or interface. The intelligence of the phone is not used only for the communication. Interference of the phone is used for the wireless system. So what is the tunneling mode? In the 2G, We have not connect the laptop for the mobile used for the connection. But in the 3G, we can facility for the wireless data used for the laptop. So in using mobile data network, you be used for your laptop and connect your laptop in the wireless data network. So this is the importance in the 3G. So 3G you have connect your any wireless network for not used for the data or only for the mobile communication, but it is used for the another facility. So this is the importance for the 3G. So what is the application mode? Application run for the phone itself. For the 3G mobile, it supports some SMS, PAP services, Java, and all the class of services. MEXC Classmate 3 mobile device can be execute some environment that allow the application development for the client devices. So any 3G services or mobile, it is used for the connection of the Java and you can develop the application. But mostly used in the Wi-Fi connection, in the wireless network you can show that, and using 3G you can use the mobile hotspot for the network or data communication. So in the hotspot you have connect your laptop and used for the data for the devices. So this is the importance. Now we can show the application on the 3G. First is the virtual home environment. Virtual home environment can be defined the concept where the environment is created the foreign network or home network, and outside the network you have virtual connection is established. So the mobile user can be experience the same computing experience their home or corporate computing environment while the mobile and roaming. So in the 3G network you have directly connect for the foreign network and directly communicate to each other. For the number of use the application, personal communication network, this is the main. There are the digital telephonic networking infrastructure which is supporting the personal number, individual services, and move for the billing or call anytime, anywhere, or any wireless digital telephony. So in the personal communication, you have directly communicate the personal any number of person for the anytime based on the wireless communication. So this is the importance. Universal subscriber identity of the module, and then audio and video. So this is the smart card for the third generation mobile phone. A SIM card in the mobile phone is offer some portability, security, and individual. So this is the SIM card is used only for the 3G, and this 3G you have supported phone. You have communicate to any server or any system. Audio and video in third generation application, you can use to download the music, multimedia, and news or any communication. So what is the audio and video? In the 3G, you have directly communicate face to face for the anytime, anywhere, any person for the audio and video wave. So this is the main application for the wireless communication. So you have face to face communicate to each other. So this is the importance. Video conferencing and all the application is supported in the 3G mode. So this is the main mobile computing application. Now we can show that what is the electronics agent and then all the application. In electronics agent is defined the mobile program that go place for the network to carry the out of their owner instruction, and they can be through the extension of the people who can dispatch of them. So electronics agent you can show that mobile programs is go to the network, and based on the network for the instruction is how can you provide the instruction. Suppose you have communicate one person to another only for the audio mode, then 3G you can use for the audio mode. for the only for communication. Suppose you have go to the video call, so you have electronics agent. It means the instruction is passed for the video mode. So this is the importance. You can show the many application in the Google Meet or any other Zoom, and all the application is supported. Also by WhatsApp, also WhatsApp in a you have call and also video call also. So this is the importance. The downloading of software and content, you can high speed download for the any content for the any networks. And ENUM is a one protocol for imaging for the work of the Internet Engineering Task Force is telephonic number of mapping of the working group. This is one protocol you established for the network and work for the internet. So this is the all application for the 3G technology. So we can show that what is the main difference 3G and 2G. 2G is not directly you can communicate high speed data network or directly not communicate the any person for anywhere or anytime in the foreign network. But in the 3G network, you have directly communicate any network anytime for anywhere. So this is the main. And mostly use 3G is supported all the mode of application of the number of application we can use for the directly video calls and conference call. So this is the main 3G importance. Also, in the high bandwidth and the frequency is used for the 3G technology. So you have directly communicate through any person. So this is the main application. You can show that the number of application mode in the 3G technology. So thank you all of you. This is we have discussed. Thank you.